Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I, Engineer Shah Muhammad, lecturer at Department of Civil Engineering, ComStats University, Islamabad, Sahiwal campus, welcome you all to our lecture number 18th of the subject Civil Engineering, Construction and Graphics. In today's lecture, we will study analysis of capital and operating costs of the construction equipment. In this lecture, we will basically be focusing on the expenses which are incorporated on the equipment and which needs to be included for consideration of contractor's profit. So in our previous lecture, we went through different types of equipments used in construction, and we overviewed a lot of different types of equipment based on the purpose for which they are used, and you should be aware about the different equipments which are used in our construction industry. So we had an introduction to equipment used in construction, why these equipments are necessary. The basic purpose of using equipment is better productivity and greater benefits in terms of profits. And type of equipment used in construction are earth moving equipments. In earth moving equipments, basically those equipments were included which were whose purpose was to move the earth, in particularly to excavate or for earth filling. Equipments were included, and construction vehicles, as the term vehicle includes, that it was those vehicles were included in this category, which needed to be which were purposefully designed for transportation purposes. And in the third category, material handling equipment for hoist and different vertical transportation of the materials, and concrete mixers, and those things were included. And fourth type, that is construction equipment for excavation purposes, of the purposefully excavation purposes of the tunnels, and those equipments were included in construction equipment. These are generic type of categories formulated by different engineers. They are not rigid classification. However, you must be aware about the particular usage of different types of equipment, that is motor grader, trenchers, excavators, dump trucks, skid steer loaders, scrappers, backhoe loaders, bulldozers, crawler loaders, and different other type of equipments we studied in our previous lecture. In lecture number 18th, that is analysis of capital and operating costs of equipment, we will study what is machine rate or equipment rate, and why it is necessary and why it is important, and machine or equipment rates objectives, what is its purpose, and basic definition of purchase price, economic life, salvage value, classification of the cost, which includes fixed cost, operating cost, and labor cost of the equipment. And fixed costs include initial cost, salvage value, interest cost, or capital cost of capital investment. This also includes taxes, insurance cost, storage cost, depreciation. All right, machine or equipment rates. Before we start our lecture properly, you should be aware that equipments are used for the purpose of profit. If there is no profit, if there is no productivity, if there is no efficiency of those equipments, then those contractor have to pay from his own pocket, then that is a liability rather than an opportunity. So to make our machines or equipments profitable, we need to calculate different expenses which are incorporated, or which those equipments are liable to. So those machine rates are incorporated on those financial aspects of those machines. So first we have taken an example that a unit cost of road construction, for road construction there is a unit cost, and is essentially derived by dividing cost by production. Production include construction, that can be earth filling, excavation, earth filling, leveling, damping, you can say compaction, and laying of the pavement. So different production processes are included in production. Okay, unit cost of if you want to calculate the unit cost of the road construction, then that can be calculated by dividing the cost by the production. In its simplest case, if you rented a tractor with operator for $60 per hour, okay, if you rented a tractor with an operator with $60 per hour rate, and including all fuels and other costs, this is lump sum cost of all the costs per hour, and you excavated 100 cubic meters per hour. This tractor was used for excavation of 100 cubic meter per hour, and your unit cost for excavation would be cost divided by production. This is our production output of an activity is called production. So your cost of excavation will be, or unit cost will be, cost divided by production. So 60 divided by 100, so this is per hour dollars divided by meter cube. So $0.60 per meter cube will be your rate of that equipment or machine. The hourly cost of the machine or the construction equipment with operator is called machine rate. The unit cost or the hourly cost of the machine is known as machine rate. In cases where machine and elements of productions are not rented, a calculation of owning and operating cost is necessary to derive the machine rate. In case if that machine is machine or the equipments of the machine are not rented by the contractor, then you need to calculate the ownership rates and the cost operating costs necessary for the machine rate. Okay, now we will consider the objectives of the machine rates. The objectives in developing a machine rate would be to arrive at a figure that as necessary as possible represents the cost of the work done under the operating conditions encountered and accounting system in use. So means the basic purpose of the machine rate is to get such a unit rate that incorporates all the operating conditions and usage conditions and ownership conditions of the equipment used while having or carrying out any production or construction. Most manufacturers of machinery supply data for cost of owning and operating their equipment that will serve as the basis of machine rates. Yeah, many manufacturers or that Caterpillar company or many other companies which are manufacturing those machinery have compiled their own data on the basis of unit rates, that cost of owning and operating their equipment, that will serve the basis of from which you can get the equipment's unit rates or per hourly rate. However, such data usually needs modification to meet specific conditions of operations, and many owners of equipment will prefer to prepare their own rates. The basic defect in usage of the manufacturer's machine rates is this, that there can be a lot of modification based on the strata on which that machines are used, and based on the specific environmental conditions in which that machines need to be used, and there can be also some legal and country-wise taxation systems which needs to be incorporated in your machine rates. And furthermore, owner of the equipment also has to incorporate some margin of the profit, and these machine rates are also incorporated in during the bidding process of any contract availment. So the machine rates is usually divided by the fixed cost, divided into fixed cost, operating cost and labor cost. So machine rate, which is a general unit cost, can be divided into fixed cost, operating cost and labor cost. So what are these costs? Let's overview them. Fixed cost. Fixed costs are those which can be predetermined as accumulating with the passage of time rather than with the rate of work. Fixed costs are predetermined cost, that is cost on the equipment and cost of the ownership is the fixed cost, and it is predetermined, and it does not depend on the rate of work. If your machine does some work, or if that machine is just lying idle, then that fixed cost is still incorporated. They do not stop when the work stop. Yeah, they do not stop when the work stop, and ownership costs keep on continuing. And if that machine or excavator is lying idle and it is not working, then with the passage of time, 1 year pass, 2 year pass, then automatically there will be some depreciation its costs, and that will be beared by the owner, and must be spread over hours of the work during the year. So this fixed cost must be spread during working hours, and cost per working hour needs to be extracted. Commonly included in the fixed cost are equipment depreciation. That with the passage of time, equipment value decreases or the cost decreases. And interest on investments. Okay, you invested some money, so what is the interest on those investments? So including time value of the money, that with the passage of time the money depreciates its value. And taxes can be from the government side, and it can be ownership tax, usage tax, property tax. Different types of taxes can be incorporated in your machinery. And storage, that machine needs to be stored somewhere, and that you need to have some renting type of storage, or you may be owning that storage, or there are some security guards, and you need to supply some incentives for the security guards. So all those expenses need to be incorporated in your machine cost. And insurances, in case of there is a theft or fire have burnt your machine or something, in case of an emergency, there is some insurance policies, so you can have incorporate those too. So you can see this figure that in this graph, hours of operation per year and cost. So if there is no work has been done, but there is still fixed cost, and that fixed cost is the ownership cost. So different machines will have different level of the fixed costs. Operating costs vary directly with the rate of work. These costs are those costs in which you directly perform the activity, which are utilized during performance of or extraction of any production. The cost of extraction of any production is known as operating cost. These costs include the cost of the fuel. This includes fuel which will be consumed during activity, lubricants, and tires, equipment maintenance and repair. All these usable costs are included in operating costs. These are almost variable costs. So then variable plus fixed cost. So this will be your, if variable costs are too much, then your this graph will be quite vertical, and if your that variable cost is quite less, then that will be quite inclined horizontally. Labor costs. Labor are those costs associated with employing labor, including direct wages of the laborers. So there are operators and different labors which needs to be incorporated in your machine costs, and that include direct wages of their salary of the laborers, and food contributions if that company is also facilitating their laborers with food, transport and social costs, including payment for health and retirement. And the cost of supervision may also be spread over the labor costs. So supervision cost is also divided on per hourly basis. So these are three major categories: fixed cost, which includes ownership cost. When you purchase an item, that incorporates that comes into fixed costs, and operating costs are those usable costs, your usable items which are costly and which are incorporated during which affects your operations. And labor costs are the means operators which are carrying out the production. Machine rates. The machine rate is the sum of fixed plus operating plus labor cost. Okay, this is the Basic equation of the machine rates is equal to the fixed cost plus operating cost plus labor cost. The division of the cost in these classification is arbitrary. That is an arbitrary classification. You can have your own formula for calculation of the machine rate, though that machine rate should be realistic and not based on a lot of assumptions. Although accounting rules suggest a rigid classification when you have some when you are dealing with the finances of the incorporations or the construction industry, then accounting rules suggest that your classification should be fixed and rigid rather than arbitrary. Anyhow, you can make your arbitrary classification fixed classification. The key point is to separate the cost in such a way as to make the most sense in explaining the cost of operating the men and equipment. Means your cost should be divided into such a category that there should be a sensible categorization of the cost of operating men and equipment. So you are basically operating human resource and machine. So there should be proper categorization of calculations of those two fundamental items. For example, if a major determinant of equipment salvage value is the rate of obsolescence, such as in the computer industry, depreciation cost is largely dependent on the passage of time. It states that your calculation, how it depends, how it variates with the passage of time. So they said if your equipment, if you are in the computer industry and you have some computer, the basically salvage value is this, that at the end of the useful period you sell it. So that's the return which that machine brings to you is the salvage value. That depends on the rate of obsolescence. If that computer industry or that equipment produced in the computer industry is obsolete, now that is an extant piece of an item, then no one is going to buy that item, so that salvage value will be zero. So so that is that computer industry item is totally dependent on the passage of time. With the passage of time in IT industry, it is also prominent that with the passage of time, that technology, due to rapid change in technology, that items rate depreciates too much, and that items that technology becomes obsolete and no more useful, and no one is buying that reused item anymore. Not the hours worked. For a truck, tractor or power saw, a major determinant may be actual hours of the equipment used. So in truck or tractor or power saw or different equipments of the construction industry, so actual costs can be incorporated by the considering of the equipment actually used by the equipment. The tractor's life could be viewed as the sand in an hourglass, which is only permitted to flow during the hours the equipment is working. So the tractor's life can be exemplified with a sand in the glass hourglass, that you can only permit the flow of the sand when the equipment is working. Otherwise its life will keep on continuing and its value will not depreciate. For construction firms, it is important to accurately estimate the equipment cost as part of the total cost of the construction project. So for construction firm, before bidding, they need to calculate the estimate of the equipment cost, and that will be the part of the total cost of the project, construction project. Inaccurate estimation of construction equipment cost may adversely affect the profit margin of the firms, especially engaged in projects with more involvement of different types of construction equipments. So there can be a liability that inaccurate estimation by the quantity surveyor can lead to that construction company to very less profit margin, or even that can make that firm a bankrupt due to inaccurate estimation of the construction equipment cost. The total cost of the piece of the construction equipment consists of two components, namely ownership cost and operating cost. So it states that mainly there are two fundamental costs: ownership cost and operating cost. And it is also referred in some textbooks like ownership and operating cost of the construction equipment. As we have told that this is not rigid, you can also include ownership cost is a fixed cost, and operating cost, some of the reference materials have incorporated labor's cost in operating cost too. The selection of the piece of the equipment in a construction project depends on the total cost associated with that equipment. Okay, if you want to select, being an owner of a construction firm, you want to own some equipment or you want to apply that equipment to the site, then you need to consider the total cost associated with that equipment before selecting that equipment or authorizing that equipment for the construction project. Now we will go through different basic definitions, and first definition is purchase price. This is the actual equipment purchase cost, including the standard attachments, optional attachments, sale tax and delivery cost. This is the actual cost of buying an equipment. That can include the standard attachments and some optional attachments and sale taxes and delivery cost. Delivery cost is also incorporated in your purchase price, and sale taxes which are taxed by governments of that country. The prices are usually quoted at the factory or delivered at site. So there are different types of quotation of the purchase price: factory or delivered at site. Factory price applies if the buyer takes the title of the equipment at the factory. Buyer is entitled for the ownership of the equipment at the factory and responsible for the shipment. And on his own behalf, his or her own behalf, that contractor is or that buyer is applying for the shipments. On the other hand, delivered price applies if the buyer takes title of the equipment after it is delivered. The delivered price usually incorporates freight, packing and insurance. So means delivered price is that price in which a buyer takes the title of the equipment or ownership of the equipment when that equipment is delivered at that spot where that buyer has referred to, and the cost of the delivery is also incorporated in that price of the equipment. Other costs such as installations should be included in the initial investment cost. So the price of the technical staff and their wages should also be incorporated in the initial investment cost. And special attachments may sometimes have a separate machine rate if their lives differ from the main equipment and form an important part of the equipment. So special attachments which are not necessary and which are not basics to the machine can have some special rates, and that can be incorporated in purchase price if you are buying at that instant. Economic life. This is the period, this is the time duration over which the equipment can operate at an acceptable operating cost and productivity. So this is the economic life, means economically that that machine is working. Otherwise, if that is uneconomical, then that is not economic life. Economic life is generally measured in terms of years, hours, and in cases of trucks and trailers in terms of distances or kilometers. So normally there are different types of machines and which machines need to work. That those machines economic life is calculated in the terms of years and hours. And while those vehicles which are used for transportation purposes like trucks and trailers, then distance is the measure of economic life. The greater the distance, the less the economic life, the more the usage of the equipment per hour, then the lesser the economic life of that equipment is. It depends on the variety of factors, including physical deterioration. If the physical deterioration has come very early, then economic life will be less. Technological obsolescence, if technology has become outdated and now you don't need that technology at all, and that is inefficient technology, and now more useful technology and efficient technology has come up, and now that previous technology has become obsolete, so economic life will reduce and changing economic conditions, taxation, and you can see that environmental conditions also affecting economic life. Physical deterioration can arise from factors corrosion, chemical deposition, or by wear and tear due to abrasion, shock, and impact. These are a few of the major determinants of the physical deterioration. These may result from normal and proper usage, abusive and improper usage, age, inadequate or lack of maintenance, severe environmental conditions. So economic life also depend on proper and improper usage. If proper usage, then economic life will be more. If abusive or improper usage, then economic life will reduce. Age, with the passage of time, economic life may reduce, and few machines with the passage of time, economic life may increase. Due to inflation in that countries, inadequate or lack of maintenance, if that maintenance is not proper or even totally lacking the maintenance, then economic life will reduce, and severe environmental conditions can also affect the economic life. Changing economic conditions such as fuel prices. Economic conditions include fuel prices and tax, investment incentives, and rate of interest can also affect the economic life of the equipment. Example of ownership periods for some type of skidding and road construction equipment based upon application and operating conditions as shown in this. Since the life are given in terms of operating hours, the life in years is obtained by working backward by defining the number of working days per year and estimated number of working hours per day. So if there is if you are having some working life and different equipments in 3.1 as shown, so these are track type tractors. If zone A, this is defining the quality of working area or strata, and zone B and zone C, and small tractor and large tractor, and these are the working total working hours. And motor grader, excavator, and wheel skidder, wheel tractor, scraper, off-way, high track. These are mostly high equipments used on the highways, and these are adopted from the Caterpillar Incorporation performance reports. And so these are the total working hours economic life. So you can work backward by defining the number of working hours per day per year, and an estimated number of working hours per day. For equipment that works very few hours per day, the derived equipment life may be very long. If equipment is using very few hours and is being utilized for 4 to 6 hours per day, then its life will be longer as compared to that equipment which is used for 8 hours per day. And local conditions can be checked for reasonableness of the estimate. Alright. Salvage value. The third definition is the salvage value. It is defined as the price that equipment can be sold for at the time of its disposal. Means if you are if you are going to buy some new equipment and you want to sell that old equipment, then the price of that selling of the old equipment is the salvage value. Used equipment rates vary widely throughout the world. Means salvage value of a particular equipment in some country will be very high as compared to salvage value in some other country. However, in any used equipment, market factors which have greatest effect on resale or trade in value are the number of hours on the machine at the time of resale or trade. Means that the utilization of that machine and the type of job and the operating conditions under which it worked, different soil strata in which it worked, and the physical condition of the machine. So these are the 4 determinants of the salvage value. Whatever the variables, however, the decline in value is greater in the first year than second, and greater in the second year than third. So in initial years, the salvage value depreciates a lot rather than later years. The shorter the work life of the machine, the higher the percentage value lost in a year. So this is the fundamental definition that salvage value rate will be quite higher in initial years rather than in later years. In agricultural tractors used for traction of the soil, for example, as general as 40 to 50% of the value of the machine will be lost in first quarter of the machine life. So in first quarter, if that is 100%, then in first quarter, first quarter of the machine life, in 25% of the life of the machine, first 25% of the life of the machine, 40 to 50% depreciation in its salvage value will be incurred, and halfway point of the life from 70 to 75% value will be lost. If half of the machine life has been passed, tractor machine life has been passed, so that will be, salvage value will be, return on the resale will be 70 to 75%. Means that will be from 25 to 30%. Return on the investment will be 20 to 25%. 25 to 30% of the initial cost. The salvage value is often estimated as 10 to 20% of the initial purchase cost. Means, to be on the safer side, we estimate salvage value approximately 10 to 20% of the initial purchase price. Machine rates, ownership cost or fixed cost. Ownership cost or fixed cost is total cost associated with the construction equipment for owning it. Ownership cost, if you want to purchase an equipment, that is the purchasing cost, irrespective of the equipment is employed or not on the project. So for if you buy an equipment and if that is not utilized, then that is an ownership cost, still in ownership, and that has been cost to use something. So ownership cost or fixed cost consists of initial cost, salvage value, that is subtraction of the salvage value, means the cost which you will get, or the return on your initial investment which you will get after resale of the equipment. Interest cost or cost of the capital investment, so the profit which you got on your investment, and taxes, and insurance cost, storage cost, and depreciation, the reduction in your machine cost. So that need to be subtracted from the ownership cost. So this is all the costs which are incorporated in fixed cost. Initial cost. Initial cost is the capital investment required to own an equipment. It is a total purchasing price of that equipment. It includes purchase cost, sale taxes, transportation cost, freight charges to bring the equipment to the company's storage yard or construction site, or cost of the assembly and installation of the equipment. So all these costs are incorporated. So if the equipment is mounted on rubber tires, pneumatic tires, then tire cost is deducted from the initial cost for calculation of ownership cost. This is because expected service life of pneumatic tires is less than that of the remaining equipment. So if that equipment which you bought is having pneumatic tires, rubber tires, so that cost of the tire is a major cost in the cost of the equipment, so that needs to be minused from the cost of the equipment. This is done as we compare these, incorporate these cost of the tires in operating costs. So there will be a duplication of that cost, and furthermore, with the passage of time, that tires, we need to change those tires as the life of the tire is different from the life of the equipment. So rate of depreciation of the tires is different from that of the equipment. Cost of the tires is considered as a part of operating cost of the equipment. As the equipment is used in the project, there is depreciation in the value of the equipment with the time due to wear and tear and obsolescence. The total amount of depreciation, reduction in the cost of the machine for the construction equipment over the useful life is equal to initial cost less the estimated salvage value. Okay, total, if you want to calculate the total depreciation, total reduction in its value, then initial cost should, salvage value should be subtracted from the initial cost, and there you will get the depreciation. The details about different methods of calculation of depreciation of the assets will be discussed later. Salvage value. Salvage value represents expected cash inflow. There are two process: cash outflow and cash inflow. Cash inflows are the profits that will be received by disposing of an equipment at the end of its useful life. If you want to resell it, and that will be the cash inflow, and that will be salvage value. The estimation of the expected salvage value of the equipment can be carried out by referring to the data obtained from the past projects. So if you are new in this industry of equipment, civil engineering, machinery, then you can obtain the data from the past projects, from someone else's projects, and same or similar equipment was used, and information obtained from other relevant sources. Interest cost or cost of capital investment. Interest, what is interest? Interest is the cost of using funds over the period of time. Means it is the cost if you want to, if you have a cost, if you have some fund and you are using it, and with the passage of time, that reduction in the value of that cost, time value of the money, is called interest. If borrowed, the interest rate is established by the lender. If you are borrowing the money, then interest rate is established by the lender and varies with the locality and lending institutions. So interest rate vary with the locality and lending institution, and from country to country interest rates vary, and from government to government interest rates vary. If the money comes from savings of the company, the opportunity cost or rate or the rate this money would earn if invested elsewhere is used as an interest rate. Means if you are an owner of an corporation and a construction firm, and you have some saving, and you want to now you have two options. Either you use that saving to buy an equipment, or you use that saving to incorporate that saving in some other businesses. Then the return which you will get on that money, that is also that will set the interest rate, that will be used to set an interest rate. Accounting practice of the private firms may ignore interest or on equipment on the ground that interest is a part of profits. Okay, if you have your own firm and you have a private firm, then you can ignore the interest on the equipment, because you have also assumed that the money which you have invested is also a part of the profit, and no proper charge against operating equipment. So exclusion of such charges may lead to development of unrealistic comparative rates. So if you are not incorporating those interest rates, then you will get an unrealistic comparative rates between machines of low and high initial costs. So means you have to consider that if there are two options, low and high initial cost, so the rate of return is also considered and should be considered while considering the cost of capital investment. This may lead to erroneous or erratic type of decisions in selection of the equipment. If the annual cost of interest charged on the borrowed money or that of a capital investment to acquire the ownership of the equipment, it is the annual cost charged by the borrowed money or the capital to acquire the ownership. If the equipment is purchased by borrowing money from lender, then interest charge. Okay, this is reiteration of the previous one. On the other hand, if the equipment is purchased using the construction's own fund, then the cost of capital investment is the interest charged or capital investment at interest rates equal to the construction firm's rate of return. Okay. With the passage of time, how much that rate of money will return to the firm, that will decide the interest cost. Even though the construction firm uses its own fund to purchase the equipment, the cost of capital investment is charged as part of ownership cost, because the construction firm could have invested the funds elsewhere to earn the returns instead of purchasing the equipment. This is important. Means why corporations incorporate cost of capital investment in their own buying and from their own money. The interest cost or on borrowed money or cost of capital investment can be exactly calculated by considering time value of the money. You should be considering the time value of the money, that with the passage of time, value of the money depreciates, and using appropriate compound interest factors. Okay, simple interest is not incorporated in real-time construction industry or banking sector, so compound interest factors are incorporated. However, the interest cost or cost of capital investment are both, these are both same. Interest cost or cost of capital investment. Interest cost is from borrowing, lending company, and cost of capital investment is from owning company. Both are interests and can also be calculated approximately as percentage of constant average annual investment over useful life of the equipment. So a constant average investment, so means annually the interest can be on the in percentage term on the annual investment cost over its useful life. The annual interest rate or the rate of return is multiplied to the average annual investment to find out the annual interest cost or the capital cost of capital investment. So you have annual interest rate and you have annual investment cost. So if you multiply the annual investment cost with the annual interest rate, you will get annual interest cost. The average annual investment can be calculated by finding out the average value of the equipment over its useful life of the equipment. So if you have average annual cost, you divide that with the useful life of the equipment, so you will get average annual investment. Alright, it may be noted here that value of the equipment depreciates with the time. So value of the equipment depreciates, there is seen a reduction in value of the equipment. By considering straight line depreciation, this is a method of calculation of the depreciation. The average annual interest investment can be found out by calculating average of the book value, that is face value at the beginning of the first year, and at the beginning of the last year of the useful life, at the beginning of the year. This is for derivation purposes. Anyhow, we are not going to derive this depreciation, and the expression for constant annual depreciation from the straight line method is this: depreciation is equal to P minus SV divided by N. P is the initial cost of the equipment, N is the useful life, and SV is the estimated salvage value of the equipment. So initial cost minus resale value divided by number of useful years that has passed during working or from buying to selling. So this is that constant annual depreciation formula. Alright, the book value at the beginning of the first year is equal to initial cost P. So book value is the value in your books for the resaleability of that equipment. The book value at the beginning of the last year and which is equal to the book value at the year this. So these are for derivation purposes. So let's skip this. That average annual investment calculated by taking the average. This is our major equation which we will consider in our upcoming lecture. So you need not to derive this equation. These are for financial students, economic students. We are engineers and we need to go for the application of these equations. Okay, it may be noted here that while calculating average annual investment, this is average annual investment for equipments mounted on pneumatic tires using rubber tires using equation this. Cost of pneumatic tires is subtracted from the initial cost of the equipment. So cost from this equation you need to subtract cost of the tires, and annual interest cost or cost of the capital cost of capital investment annual can be calculated by multiplying the average annual investment as mentioned in this by the annual interest rate. Okay, if you want to calculate annual interest cost, so how are you going to calculate? You multiply this with average interest rate, so you will get annual interest cost. Ownership costs include taxes. It represents the property tax to be paid to the state or central government. It can be a tax incorporated from the provincial government or central government, federal government. It depends on the value of the equipment owned and the appreciable tax rate for the given location. It depends on the value of the equipment and also tax rate at the given location. The property tax can be calculated as a percentage of the average annual investment or percentage of the book value at the given year. As I have told you that average annual investment is calculated by this and or the book value which is given in years. Book value is the resale value of your equipment, which is fixed by you, by the owner of the equipment. That is not market rate, but that is book value. You think that it will be resold on this price, so that is the book value. In generally, it ranges from 2 to 5%. Taxes include 2 to 5% and average annual investment or book value of the equipment. In developed countries, there are a lot of taxes on machines, civil engineering construction machines, and while in developing countries, as their regulations and policies are not firmly established, so taxes are quite lower. Insurance cost, it represents the annual premium which needs to be paid to the insurance company to cover the cost incurred due to accidents, fire, theft, etc. for the construction equipment. Annually, the payment which you pay for the insurance company in case of emergency, accidents, fire, theft, etc. That is the insurance cost. In other words, it represents the cost that protects the owner of the equipment against these damages. It is for security purposes and safety purposes of the equipment. Similar to taxes, insurance cost can be calculated as percentage of average annual investment or book value of the given year. It is generally about 1 to 3% of the average annual investment or book value of the equipment. So insurance, if you want to calculate the insurance, then you have the average annual investment or book value. So you just multiply the percentage of the insurance with that average annual investment and you will get the insurance cost. Storage cost. It is the cost of keeping the equipment in storage yards when it is not operating at the working site. Okay, for storage, and this includes rent you pay for storing, and maintenance charge for storage yard, and there can be maintenance charges, wages of the security guard, and wages of the workers employed for bringing in and out of the storage yard. So these are the storage costs. It is around 0.5 to 1.5% of the average annual investment and book value of the equipment. And the annual storage cost can be recalculated for the entire fleet of equipment and is then prorated, divided to individual equipment requiring the storage facility. So means annual storage cost can be calculated by entire fleet of equipment. So if there is a fleet of equipment in the storage, so total cost divided by number of equipment using their storage facility, you will get the individual prorated cost, distributed divided cost. Similar to storage cost, the tax and insurance cost can be calculated for the equipment fleet and then prorated to individual cost. If there is a lot of a fleet of machines, then lump sum tax, you have total tax on machines, so you can divide by number of equipment and you will get the individual equipment cost. But one thing should be considered, that all the equipments need to be considered of the same category. Alright, it may be noted that the annual rates mentioned for taxes, insurance and storage are typical values. However, the actual rates will vary depending on the type and size of the equipment, place of purchase, location of the project. So the percentages annual rates which are given in this lecture are typical values, commonly used values, and they may vary. For particular value, you need to refer your own country specifications and rules and regulations regarding taxes, storage, and insurance. Ownership cost or fixed cost also include depreciation. Objective of the depreciation charge is to recognize decline in value of the machine as it is working at a specific task. Decline in the value of the machine is known as depreciation. Depreciation schedules vary from simplest approach, which is the straight line decline in value, to more sophisticated techniques which recognizes the change rate of value loss over time. The formula for the annual depreciation charge using the assumption of the straight line decline is this one. So P is the initial cost, and we have studied this depreciation. Initial cost and salvage value, and divided by number of the years. Initial cost minus the rate, the cost at which the machine will be resold, and divided by n, number of years which was in your ownership. Ownership cost or fixed cost general guidelines is, after calculating the different components, the total annual ownership cost of construction equipment is calculated by summing up the depreciation cost, investment or interest cost, tax, insurance and storage cost. Then hourly cost of ownership can be calculated by dividing the annual ownership cost by number of operating hours the equipment will operate annually. So this needs to be added together and divided by number of hours that has to operate annually. The hourly ownership cost can also be calculated by first determining the components of ownership cost individually on hourly basis, followed by adding these hourly cost to get the total hourly cost. So you are interested in calculating the hourly ownership cost, so you can individually calculate that the depreciation cost in hourly terms, and investment cost in hourly term, and tax cost in hourly terms, and storage and insurance cost in hourly terms, and add them together and you will get the total hourly cost, ownership cost. Operating cost is the second category of the machine rates, and operating cost is incurred only when equipment is operated. During operation of the machine, that operating cost is incorporated, and operating cost of the equipment is influenced by various parameters, number of operating hours for which that is used, and location of the job site, and operating conditions, and category of the equipment, etc. So these consist of repair and maintenance cost of the equipment, fuel cost of the equipment, cost of lubricating oil, filter and grease, tire cost, and tire is included in operating cost, so we did subtract from that ownership cost, and equipment operator wages. Okay, equipment operator wages are also incorporated in operating cost, so you need not to incorporate this operator wages in labor's cost. Cost of replacing high wear items, at cost of mobilization and demobilization assembly. One by one we are going to study them. In repair and maintenance cost, this is the category which includes everything from simple maintenance to periodic overhaul of the engine, transmission, clutch, brakes or other major equipment components for which wear primarily occurs on the basis of potential proportional to use. Basis proportional to use. So these type of equipment, parts of the equipment needs to repair, and the operator use or abuse of the equipment, and the severity of the working condition and maintenance of the repair policies, and the basic equipment design and the quality all affects the maintenance and repair cost. So these are the few fundamentals that if you are using properly, and severity of working conditions are conducive, and maintenance are proper, policies are formulated and they are obeyed by, and basic equipment design and qualify the standards, and so your repair and maintenance cost will be low. If that is having some different type of misuse of the equipment and severe condition, and maintenance policies are not proper, and maintenance is not being conducted properly, then repair and maintenance cost will be more. Repair and maintenance cost is incurred as the construction equipment is subjected to wear and tear due to operations it performs. So it is natural that equipment with the usage it will get some repair and maintenance cost, incur some repair and maintenance cost. The repair and maintenance cost include cost of replacement parts, labor or technical staff charges, and the cost of setting up an operating facility to carry out the major repair and operation facility. Okay, that is also includes the establishment of the operating facility for repair and maintenance operations. Repair and maintenance cost vary from 1 year to another over the service life of the equipment, however increases with the age. So repair and maintenance increases with the age, so its cost also increases with the age, and this cost contributes a substantial portion of the operating cost. So this is a major one of the most major cost of the operating cost. The increase in service life or decrease in repair and maintenance of the construction equipment can be achieved by carrying out timely recommended maintenance and repair operations. So if you want to decrease the repair and maintenance cost, so you need to have timely recommended maintenance and operation costs operations. Minor repair can be carried out at job site. So minor repair can be carried out at the site and where the equipment is operating. However, major repairs can be carried out in the facility set up by equipment owner or in workshop of authorized dealers of the equipment. So major equipment need to have some specific facilities. That can be some workshop for the equipment, or that can be a facility established by the owner by himself. So repair and maintenance cost can be calculated as percentage of the annual depreciation cost of the equipment. So annual repair and maintenance cost can be calculated by the percentage of annual depreciation cost of the equipment. We studied in previously that salvage, that insurance, tax, and storage cost are some can be calculated by calculating a percentage of the annual average annual interest, average annual investment costs, and while repair and maintenance costs can be calculated by percentage of annual depreciation cost of the equipment. Past information available from the company record or other relevant sources of the similar equipment and civil working under similar working conditions can be used for estimating the repair and maintenance cost. So past information of the equipment or past record or a similar history can be compared, and that repair and maintenance cost can be extracted. If this data is not available, equipment manufacturers guideline can be used for calculating this cost. And the major thing is this, that you are going to buy an equipment and you need to consider operating cost, and in operating cost you need to consider repair and maintenance cost. So you don't have any data, then you can refer to equipment manufacturers guidelines for extracting this value. And the hourly repair and maintenance cost can be calculated by dividing the annual cost by the number of operating hours per year. Annual cost of the maintenance repair and maintenance you have, so divide that by operating cost operating hours per year, so you will get the hourly repair and maintenance cost. So why are we interested in hourly repair and maintenance cost? Actually, hourly, in everything we need to consider hourly cost, because while bidding we have to in bill of quantities we have to incorporate hourly cost of the utilization of the machinery. If experienced owner or cost records are not available, the hourly maintenance repair cost can be estimated as the percentage of hourly depreciation. You have hourly depreciation rate, and if that is crawler tractor, then it is 100% of the hourly depreciation, and agricultural tractor 100%. So maintenance cost, this is a percentage of hourly depreciation. So you can also extract with such data. Fuel cost. The fuel consumption rate of the piece of equipment depend on the engine size, load factor, and the condition of the equipment, operator's habit, environmental conditions, and basic design of the equipment. So these are the fundamental. If engine size is more, fuel consumption will be more, load factor is bigger, so fuel consumption will be more, equipment condition or Equipment is new, that fuel consumption will be less. Equipment is old, fuel consumption will be operators habits. Operator is roughly using, then fuel consumption will be more, and using proper usage, and then fuel consumption will be less. Environmental conditions and basic design of the equipment, efficient design of the equipment, and fuel consumption will be less. So eco-friendly, everything needs to be considered. So construction companies, construction equipments are generally powered by internal combustion engine, which use either gasoline, petrol, or diesel as the fuel. So fuel consumption now, major construction industry is dependent on diesel, and the fuel consumptions depend on the rated flywheel horsepower of the engine and the nature of the working conditions. The flywheel horsepower represents the available power of for operating a piece of equipment. So horsepower is used for represent the power available on the equipment for operating. A gasoline engine consumes about 0.06 gallons of fuel per flywheel horsepower, whereas in the diesel engine consumes 0.04 gallons of fuel per horsepower when operating under standard conditions. This will vary from equipment to equipment. Historical data about the quantity of fuel used by the similar equipment under similar working conditions can be used to estimate the hourly fuel consumption by the equipment. So if you do not have any data, so historic data from other companies or other machines can be used, other similar machines can be used operating in similar working conditions. If these data are not available, equipment manufacturers fuel consumption data can be used. If no data is available, then equipment reference manual can be used. Hourly fuel cost can be calculated by multiplying the hourly fuel consumption by its unit price. Hourly fuel cost, you are interested, cost, not cost. So total cost of the fuel divided by number of hours which were operated during that fuel consumption. So that will have hourly fuel cost. To determine the hourly fuel cost, the total fuel cost is divided by the productive time of the equipment. If the fuel consumption records are not available, the following formula can be used to estimate liters of fuel used per machine hour. Liter of fuel per machine hour. LMPH, liter used per machine hour. Liter used per machine hour. K is the kg of fuel used per brake or HP per hour, and kg of the fuel used, and GHP is the gross engine power at the current engine revolution per minute. Engine horsepower, gross engine horsepower, and LF is the load factor in percent, and KPL is the weight of fuel in liters. So kg per liter, and typical values are given in this. The load factor is the ratio of average horsepower used to the gross horsepower available of the flywheel. So these are the gasoline. If that is gasoline, so KPL should be this much, and diesel is this much, and fuel consumption for gasoline is this much, and these, and load factor, if low work load factor and high, medium, and high, so these factors need to be incorporated, and a kilogram of the K is a kilogram, so need to just fill in the K, how many liters kilogram of the fuel has been filled in your machine, so you will get the liter used per machine hour. Simple formula. In operating costs, the sixth category is cost of lubricating oil, filter, and grease. The quantity of lubricating oil, filter, and grease required depends on operating hours. Greater the operating hours, greater the use frequency of the changes. How many, the frequently you change, the more the cost of the lubricating oil, filter, and grease. And engine characteristics, efficiency of the engine, and working condition at the site. The equipment manufacturer's guideline or past data from experience of similar equipment in similar working conditions can be used to estimate the time period between the changes. So how much frequently you need to change the lubricating oil filter or grease? So you need to consult manufacturer's guideline or past data from the experience. The quantity of the lubricating oil required by the engine is equal to the amount added during complete change plus a small amount added between the changes. So that need to be incorporated. All the changes means complete changing the lubricating oil or small changes, addition of the lubricating oil with the passage of time. So you need to all add them together. Quantity of lubricating oil required by the engine can be calculated by this formula. So QI is the quantity of oil required. QL quantity of oil required is and HP is the rated horsepower of the engine, and operator factor, and capacity of the cranks in gallons, and number of hours. T is the number of hours between oil changes. Hours and capacity of the crank case in gallon. So manufacturer's data, this is your consumption data, number of hours between oil changes, and horsepower. So everything is given, and operator factor. So that the term this much in the above is based on the assumption that quantity of lubricating oil required per rated horsepower hour between the changes is this much, and this much conversion factor. So 7.4 is the conversion factor. The operator factor in the above depends on the throttle load factor and efficiency factor, that is the operator's efficiency. Manufacturer's guideline or past experience from a similar, we have discussed this, and hourly cost of lubricating oil can be calculated from the hourly consumption quantities. So it may be noted here that the quantity of oil required in SI system can also be obtained by using the appropriate conversion factor in the above. So this is not SI system, so SI system can be incorporated by using appropriate conversion factors. Okay, in absence of the local data, lubricant consumption in liters per hour for skidders, tractors, front end loader can be estimated like this. Multiply horsepower of the crankcase oil, transmission oil, final drive, hydraulic control. For these formulas include normal oil changes and no leaks, and they should be increased 25% when operating at heavy dust, deep mud and water. Another rule of thumb is that lubricating oil is cost 5 to 10% of the cost of the fuel. This is an interesting thing, that if you are not going to dive deeper into the ocean of calculation of the lubricating oil, a simple calculation indeed, but still if you don't want to calculate those things, then you just incorporate the 5 to 10% of the cost of the fuel for the calculation of the lubricating and grease cost. Okay, D is the tire cost, and in the operating cost, due to their shorter life, tires are considered an operating cost. Tire cost is affected by the operator's habit, vehicle speed, surface condition, wheel position, loading, relative amount of time spent on the curves and grades. Okay, for off-highway equipment, if local expenses are not available, the following category of the tire life based on upon tire failure mode should be used as guidelines. The tire okay, in zone A, almost all tires wear through to tread from abrasion before failure, and zone B and zone C, different zones have been categorized. So these are zones, explanations of the zone, and motor grader, wheel scraper, different equipment, and these are the number of hours of the tire cost. Not called tire cost, this is number of useful hours of the tires. The cost of pneumatic tires, rubber tires, is considered as the cost of operating the cost. The tire costs include the tire repair and replacement charges. The service life of the tire is generally shorter than the equipment, as the tires wear out at faster rate than equipment. The life of the tires varies according to the extent of wear it is subjected to, which depends on the job site conditions, and the tire repair changes can be calculated as per a certain percentage of tire depreciation cost. They can also be calculated. That means you just calculate the tire depreciation cost and just multiply a certain percentage of the tire depreciation cost, and that way you will get the tire cost. The past data from the similar operating and project site conditions and tire and equipment manufacturer guideline can be used to estimate the expected life of tires. The hourly tire repair and replacement cost can be calculated by dividing the sum of the cost of the set of the tires and repair charges by the life of the tires in hours. So if you want to calculate the hourly tire repair or replacement cost, so you have all the cost of buying new tires and repairing charges. So divided that sum of those tires divided by number of hours of the utilization. Equipment operator wages. So I told you that labor charges need not to be applied separately. That is also included in operating cost. Operator costs include hourly wages and benefits paid by the company to the operator. It includes normal wages, workman compensation, insurance premium, fringe benefits, bonuses. The operator wages vary from the project to project. The operator cost is normally calculated as separate cost category and is added to other components of the operating cost. Cost of replacing high wear item. It represents the cost of high wear items, and these items have a shorter life as compared to service life of the equipment. So as the name represents, that cost of high wear item. So if wearability is higher, then very frequently you need to change that item in the machine. So that includes blades, cutting edges, drill bits, bucket teeth, etc. These are high wear items in your equipments, and many other items can be incorporated, and the expected life of these items can be estimated from the past records or from manufacturers guidelines. The hourly cost can be calculated by dividing the unit cost by the estimated life in hours. Cost of mobilization, assembly and demobilization includes transportation charges from one project site to another, cost required for getting road permits, toll tax and unloading charges, and cost of assembly at the project site all need and hourly cost can be calculated by dividing the total cost by the number of operating hours. Okay. The third category is labor cost. We have also studied, and in many literature, labor cost has been separately included, and direct and indirect payments such as tax, insurance payments, and food, housing subsidies are also included, and labor costs need to be carefully considered when calculating machine rates, since the hours the labor works often differs from hours the associated equipment work. So that equipment may work less as compared to the labor cost. So what is important is that the user defines his convention and then to use it consistently. For example, in felling, the horsepower rarely works more than 4 hours per day, even though the cutter may work 6 or more hours and may be paid 8 hours including travel. So machine may work less 4 hours and labor work 6 hours, and if you include traveling, so that will be total 8 hours. In felling, production rates are based upon 6 hour working. If felling production rates are based on 6 hour working day with 2 hours of travel, the machine rate of the operator with power saw should consider 4 hours power saw use and 8 hours labor for 6 hour production. So if you are using for a 6 hour working day, so power saw should be used for 4 hours and labor should be used for 6 hours, and if that is 8 hours, then labor should that power saw should be used for 6 hours production. Variable effort cycles. The concept that men and equipment work at constant rates is an abstraction that facilitates measurements, record keeping, and payments and analysis. However, there are some work cycles which require such variable efforts that is more useful to construct machine rates for parts of the cycle. So you cannot assume the constant rates for men and equipment. One important case is the calculation of the machine rate for the truck. When a log truck is waiting to be loaded, is being loaded and is being unloaded, its fuel consumption, tire wear and other running costs are not being incurred. or if these costs are incurred, they are at much reduced rate. So these are, if means loading and unloading, they do take time. So number of working hours that will be incorporated in your previous costs. But to be honest, the cost incurred are should be at much reduced rates. For the standing truck, a different machine rate is often constructed using only the fixed cost and the labor cost for this part of the cycle. All of the truck depreciation may be included. If a single machine rate were used to estimate the unit cost of truck transport, and this value was converted to ton per kilometer cost without removing the fixed cost of the loading and unloading, then the variable cost of the transportation will be overestimated. This could lead to erroneous results when choosing between road standards or haul routes. This is the thing which needs to be critically considered, that if you are not considering the loading and unloading in your machine rates, then and you are just assuming the fixed cost of hauling of the material, then that your estimate will be overestimated, and that will not be realistic estimate. Alright, in this lecture, let's summarize a very simple lecture, and we studied that before buying an equipment, being an owner of the construction company or being a contractor, you need to consider three different costs: fixed cost, operating cost, and labor cost. And we also studied different subcategories of the ownership costs. We studied initial cost, salvage value, taxes, insurance, interest, storage, depreciation, all need to be considered per hourly rate. And there are also operating costs, repair and maintenance cost, fuel cost of lubricating oil, tire cost, and these also should be considered per hourly. And overall cost of the machine per hour, utilization or cost of the machine per hour, machine rate need to be extracted, and that is quoted, and that is considered while bidding. So very simple data, you can go through them, and I have just briefly went through them, many of the texts. So you can just read them, and if you have any complication, then we can have a discussion session, online discussion session. So your questions are welcomed. And that's it for today, and thank you all for listening, and we will come up with some other financial aspects of the construction industry in upcoming lectures. And thank you. Assalamu alaikum.